How y'all doing today? My name's Ayin, and today's topic of discussion is going to be benefit of a good attitude. Benefit of a good attitude. I thought about this because I was reflecting on past incidents, things that's transpired in my life, and sometimes I've had a good attitude about the situation, even though it might not have necessarily been something to have a good attitude about. Maybe I just didn't say anything. I kept my mouth closed on what transpired because I was trying to keep back from reverting back to the old me where the situation would get a lot messier. And the point that I'm making is me having a good attitude up about the situation. When it was over and I walked away, or we parted ways, I had nothing to feel guilty for. I had nothing to feel bad for. I had nothing that I needed to apologize for because I didn't say anything that was emotionally disturbing to the other person. I didn't disrespect them in any sort of type of way, no matter how I may have felt in that situation, because I was just kind of really thinking on it, meditating on what really went on, and I just chose to have a good attitude about the situation. Because sometimes you have to look at the end result on what do I hope to accomplish by doing this. I just wanted to bring this perspective to you all today in thinking about when you have a good attitude up on things, when it comes to yourself, it's really a benefit. There's really no downside to it. Even if the situation does get a little bit ugly, you having a good attitude about it, and part of having that good attitude has to do with you having confidence in yourself, having confidence in the way that you're handling that situation, that you're using maturity, you're trying to remain as calm as possible, trying to keep your cool up about yourself. The reason why I'm talking about this is, and I touched on this in my book, Kilimanjaro's The Arithmetic of Family Communication. We have to learn how to take constructive criticism at times. And I think about when I was coming up, one of the things that I consistently heard this from my mother, grandmother, was, you have a bad attitude. You have a bad attitude. You got to watch your attitude because your attitude is going to get you into trouble. And being young and thinking about it, it really just kind of, I'm not going to say they flamed the situation, but with me and my attitude about it, it just kind of flamed it on. I paid attention, but I really didn't. It wasn't the type of attention that I needed to be paying to the situation in regards to working it out better up for me. So my attitude did lead to some things that, were unhealthy in the past. But I always kept that in the back of my mind, you having a bad attitude, and knowing that this was coming from elders, that maybe I need to adjust it a little bit, because these are people that are close to me. These are people that love me and they want the best for me. So I could stand to take a look from this. So as I did that, and I've changed how I look at certain things in my life. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not perfect by no stretch of the imagination. And these things that I talk to you about on this channel are things that I've went through. The things that I went through, and a lot of the times there's still resistances that I'm still met with. So, in saying that, I'm saying this. I'm still met with being tested with my attitude, with certain things, and I have to see the bigger picture on what it is that I'm trying to do. Because see, I already have the first half of the puzzle. I already have the first half of the puzzle in knowing how things are played out when I reacted a certain type of way. Didn't benefit me any. I had to go about doing things a healthier way for them to benefit me. And one of the things that I had to adopt was having the knowledge to know that a good attitude benefited me. Now don't get it twisted. A good attitude doesn't mean getting ran over, getting railroaded. I had to change my approach up on things. Maybe it was something that was said that before I would have checked you on the spot, no matter, who was standing around, and however it came out was the way that it came out. Maybe in the future, or maybe on some of the other instances, I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to need to pull this person aside. We're going to have a talk about this. Healthier ways to do things. Now I can reflect back on those situations where I did healthier things and they were awesome experiences. They were things that had transformed relationships, transformed my outlook, my perspective on things, and I'm sure it's done it with other people with me. So the point of this video, the thing that I'm trying to bring to you all is, I can't think of a downside to having a good attitude. Like I said, a good attitude doesn't mean lying down, getting ran over, going with the flow. It's just having a good attitude, carrying yourself with some maturity, addressing things the way that they may need to be addressed, or if you need to take time off to think about what happened so you could take the attitude out of it. I know I did mention this in one video where I was talking about, I forget what the topic of the video was, but I was talking about like apologies. And when you're apologizing, are you apologizing just because, you've been told it was the right thing to do? Is it only conditional that you really mean it if the other person accepts it? Because it was something I had to find out the hard way, where I've come back and apologized. Maybe that person wasn't ready for an apology, and we got into it all over again. And then I had to think about it. I was like, well, after it transpired, I was like, what was that all about? You went back to apologize. How did you end up getting back into it with them? And it was just like, well, did you really mean the apology? Because if they didn't accept it, they didn't have to. You could have moved on, especially since you had a hand in the confusion or whatever went on. Your attitude. It makes a world of difference. Taking that same situation, I've had those same instances happen to where I would change my self-talk. I'm like, okay, look, this is something that needs to be addressed. You need to address this. Maybe you stepped out of line. Even if the other person stepped out of line, I don't make it my business to, I did this because, you did that. I'm addressing what I've done. If I've come to grips to where this is something that we need to sit up here and have a conversation about, a talk about, then I'm going to, beg your pardon upon what I've done. It's not conditional. I'm only doing this if you show me your hand and, whatever you had in doing with this, because then it's conditional, and then it's going, and then there goes that emotion flowing into it, and then that bad attitude comes up off in there. Going back to what I said, having that good attitude up on the situation, I've had to where when you go up off in there to address these issues, a sincerity comes about. When you're doing what you're doing, you're feeling this right and trying to be healthy and whatnot with the situation, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter on if a person, to give you an example, which since I've changed my attitude, not that I can think of, unless, something comes to mind in a later video, I can't think of a time where once I've really readjusted my attitude and I've addressed the situation that it's not been handled. Now, I have had situations where maybe I brought the best attitude to the situation and the person was still crummy. Then I had another choice to make. Okay, where do we go from here? But the point is, I still didn't display a bad attitude to them just because they were crummy to me. This gets back to other things that I talk about in other videos when I'm saying you always have control to a degree in situations. What do you control? Maybe I'm addressing a coworker or perhaps a supervisor at work about something that's going on, bringing, good attitude to the table. Maybe they're crummy. Maybe they're talking down. Maybe the situation just has really gotten, out of control. Maybe it's a bad situation to be in. Okay, you know what? I'm still handling it with a good attitude, but now, since, you shown me what you're doing, you shown your hand up off in it, what do I need to do now? Perhaps do I need to look for another place to work? Perhaps maybe my time has just expired here. But I'm going to take my good attitude and I'll go elsewhere. I'm not going to sit here. Because think about it. We go back and forth, outcome will still be the same. It's all about working up on you. Okay, you're acting all crummy towards me. Oh, now I'm gonna let that old iron out. Now you're gonna get that bad attitude. Situation's still the same. Whether I'm fired there on the spot, I make up my mind to, leave and the next day, or we're just kind of ugly with one another. I mean, still the same outcome. What are you doing? How are you handling the situation? What's your attitude like? You also find that when you adjust your attitude and you learn to truly have like a good attitude about things, you're able to take things in stride. Keep in mind, like I said, it's still things that I'm working on. You don't think that old iron wants to come out and, man, this would be just. Sometimes I have to laugh at myself. Man, this would be just if 21-year-old iron came out, 18-year-old iron came out. We're not going to do it because I'm supposed to be better than my last day. So what can I really do to make this situation better for me? That's all I'm saying. The main reason why I came up with the topic of this video, the benefit of having a good attitude, is when you have a good attitude, one thing that you don't ever have to worry about is acting out of emotion and wronging somebody and coming back and, oh man, I really shouldn't have said that. I really shouldn't have done that. I really shouldn't have went out of my way to go about letting that go down the way that it did. Oh man, I had a bad attitude about that. That's what I'm getting at through all these examples that I've discussed in this video. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the benefit of a good attitude. At the end of the day, like I said, even if the person was crummy to you, the situation was just an all-out bad situation, you had a good attitude. Having a good attitude also allows you to have a clear head. You're able to think better, more clearly on what you need to do. You can move on. That's all I'm saying. Think about it. In the meantime, check out a book I've written. Kilimanjaro is the Arithmetic of Family Communication. I'll leave a link in the description box. You can get the book on Amazon in a paperback or an ebook copy. Also, I'm on Facebook Business. I have a Facebook business page, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, whatever may be your cup of tea. So you can see some of the things that I'm posting, some of the structured, upbuilding things that I'm talking about. Okay, obviously I'm on YouTube. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can get the content that I'm uploading each week. Okay, in the meantime, stay encouraged, avoid being discouraged. My name's Ayin. You have a good one.